Y'all, it's your boy Tone. I'm back with CG and Shaw.
What it do? What it do?
Yet another episode of your favorite podcast, the Loc'd podcast. We all locked up. Get you some. We shining, we living, we are doing our best to stay safe in these days and times. I hope that you are as well. I don't know what's going on in my background, but we're gonna rock with it. Another good show filled with conversational topics that we are here to drop for you. And just in the vein of timeliness, we are going to start with NFL football and the Super Bowl. The Rams beat the Bengals 23-30. We had just talked about our boy, your boy, everybody boy, Cigar Joey, Joe. Brrr. Guys, what do you think about the game? I mean, a lot of stuff happened, and a lot of people won some money. A lot of people lost some money.
Well, look, I'm gonna tell y'all this. My bad, Sean. You want to go first?
Nah, go ahead.
All right. For one, I lost money. That's one. Okay. Mm-hmm. Two, I think it was a decent Super Bowl, but it could have been a little bit better. That the Bengals offensive line could have been a little bit better because they could have handled the Rams front seven because it got to a point where Aaron Donald was just picking who he wanted to just manhandle and was just doing what he wanted to do. But at the same time, in the same breath, I would like to say, hats off to OBJ because I actually like him, and everybody has a bunch of crazy stuff to say about him. I think he's a passionate football player, and I'm glad that he got. Thank you, and I'm glad he got opportunity to play and make some plays to showcase what he can do because it is going into his free agent year, right? So. Yeah. So now
free agency 1-year deal with the Rams. He hit all of his contract incentives. That touchdown that he scored sealed the deal for all of his money.
Right. So, hey, I like the outcome, even though I wanted Joe Burrow to win one. Same time, OBJ, I'm glad he got one. And yeah, man, like the Rams paid for it and they got the return. They got the ROI. So, yeah.
Yeah, they got the return on the investment. The game went exactly how I thought it was going to go. I told y'all that the Bengals can't block them boys up front. And they made one more play than the Bengals offense was able to make. But that game could have got ugly. If Odell don't get hurt, we talking something real different. Like him going down was that was huge, man. So shouts out to them, but we got to give love to Von Miller and Aaron Donald because them boys came to eat, and they ate often.
They do they do what they were supposed to do against that kind of offensive line. So,
yeah, facts.
Well, I think there's something to be said for when you put in the work that you feel is going to make you successful, and maybe you don't experience all of the results of success through all of that work. So what do they say? Success is when preparation meets opportunity, something like that. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, they wasn't playing like it's our time. I mean, if you look at hiring McVay a couple years ago, if you look at how close they got, how close they've been, we're bringing guys out of retirement. We talked about Eric Weddle. We spent big money on Jalen Ramsey. I mean, they put the pieces in play. I mean, even I would advise anybody who is not familiar to look at the story, research it, read it about how they signed Matthew Stafford, because that's a really good, interesting read. And so you've got people who have obvious talent and have put up numbers everywhere else that they've been, and now they're in a winning situation.
And shout out to the Bengals, man. Like they're gonna be all right. If they keep that core together, they're gonna be all right. But they gotta find a way to protect Joe Shiesty, man, because he's been sacked so far in his career more than Andrew Luck has.
Damn, he got a mobile QB.
He's not a mobile QB.
So like they gotta figure out a way to protect him. You hear a lot of people about that draft choice, but I still feel like they drafted the correct player. But this year, free agency in the draft, they shouldn't look at nobody under 300 pounds.
Yeah. With feet. With good feet. Moving along. Speaking about the Super Bowl, the halftime show, right? A lot of people had a lot of thoughts about the halftime show. This is the blackest the halftime show has ever been, and I don't mind saying that, and I don't feel bad about it. I mean, you had Snoop, you had Dre, you had K Dot, right? Kung Fu Kenny, Mary J. Blige, and Eminem, who's gifted in his own right and made his own statements. What do y'all think maybe about the show itself, the presentation, maybe the song selection, but about some of these rumblings that we heard about potential censorship?
Well, I take from my take, being an East Coast guy, I've always respected like the West Coast music and West Coast artists, such as Dre, Kendrick, guys like that. Obviously guys that was in Super Bowl, but just to have them on the show, have them at the show, I liked it. I like every song that was played. I like everything from 50 Cent hanging up upside down, recreating his video before, and it's crazy how they would have him censor certain words because of the sensitivity that in the arena or just around the world about police, about saying certain gangs, I guess like Crips and Bloods and stuff. Like the expression was kind of stripped a little bit, but at the same time, I'm glad that they got a chance to have an all minus Eminem having like all black people perform at a Super Bowl. I don't think that ever happened before. So that's pretty huge to happen. I again, like I said, I like the performance. From I think the funniest one when Snoop before he got on the stage, he was he was smoking a little bit of reefer.
I mean, Uncle Snoop gonna do what Uncle Snoop do,
right? So that was I thought it was pretty funny because Snoop never misses a beat, and for everybody to be together and to, transition how it was, Mary J. Blige, representing the East Coast and stuff. I think that was pretty dope in my opinion. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I like the show as well. Like CG grew up on the East Coast. I'm actually from out west, but grew up on the East Side. Yeah, man, it was cool. Eminem, I don't know. I mean, you feel how you want to feel about it.
Like, give it to me. We talked about this off camera.
Yeah, I ain't really an Eminem guy. Like, Lose Yourself is a bona fide smash, but like, yeah, I'm just not an Eminem guy. Him being the one to take the knee, I don't know.
That was man.
Ain't do nothing to me. Like in my eyes, I was just like, all right.
But I ain't even see him do it.
I will stand up for M on the basis of this, and I don't know if y'all seen it, but he put out a couple of freestyles when everything was maybe a little more hot than it is now. Talking about equality and why, in his words, things are effed up, and I would advise everybody to go look at those. Like, and he even on the BET Awards when he was in like the parking garage and like really kind of snapped. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2018. But polarizing figure, to be the only, white person, Caucasian person in this setting and kind of, do the gesture. I see how that could rub some people some type of way. Piggybacking on that while we stand on this, do y'all feel that, a few years ago, Jay-Z said, we're going to do some stuff with the NFL. Things are going to change. And people kind of laughed at it. People kind of looked at it whatever way. But here it is 2 years later, 3 years later, we do have a predominantly black halftime show geared for black fans who are consuming a product that is based on players who are 70% black. Do you feel like that is progress for the NFL, or do you feel like that is pandering in a way, or sort of, the league, the commissioner trying to placate black fans who may be disgruntled after a tumultuous few years in racial justice and on the back of the Colin Kaepernick situation?
Yeah, of course it's pandering. Of course, like it's the NFL. Like, of course, no doubt about it. Like I don't even see an argument where you can say it's not. But at the same time, Jay-Z took that leap and is leading the way on ingratiating black culture into a very already black league. Really, the only white people involved with the NFL is owners, coaches, and fans.
Executives.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good thing. Very interested to see how it goes going forward. I think the Super Bowl being in LA was a big thing with helping with that. Where's the Super Bowl next year? Is Vegas next year, or is that somewhere else?
I'm
I
not.
want to say
I can
I
look it
want,
up.
I want to say it's either Vegas or Arizona. So it's going to be a different type feel depending on where the event is taking place. But for Jay-Z to pull that through with LA, man, that was big.
CG, what do you think?
I think it's pandering. I think with everything that's been happening in the past forever, I feel like it's getting more coverage about Black Lives Matter and more uproar about equality. I feel like for them to have an all black lining is good to see, but behind the silver lining of it all, it's like, why now? It's okay to ask questions like why? Like, why would they do that now when it's in LA? Like, my thing is, I never just take what's on the surface. I always like to, ask questions as to why things are happening, and I don't like to take what's kind of being fed to me. But I kind of looked at it as like a ploy, as a saying we're trying to make progress. You see, we got an all black entertainment. So my thing is, I think better change is when you see people of color in position that can really make power moves rather than you're just halftime, entertainment that people are going to say what they want to say about it, but nothing really going to change. So it's
when
just
black people ain't the help no more. That's
right.
What I say.
You know what I'm saying?
I say it's a change.
I feel what y'all are saying. I understand it. I see both sides of this argument. For the sake of just being contrary, right? I would say, okay, we've seen Aerosmith, we've seen all these acts, we've seen Super Bowl halftime shows where nobody danced. We've seen Super Bowl halftime shows where they pan the camera around the stadium and it's folks eating and going to the concessions.
Mm-hmm.
And we complained about those. Why ain't it? Why are they playing this? Why are they doing that? Why are they?
Everybody's gonna have their own thing because nobody's gonna be accepting. So somebody's gonna be mad.
I don't think nobody's complaining about it though. I just think that
y'all said it's pandering.
It is pandering. It is pandering.
It is.
I'm not complaining.
We're not being considered when there's nobody that looks like us at the halftime show. But when it is people that looks like us at the halftime show, that's not good enough either. And what I'm saying is progress no matter how small. That don't mean we got to take it. That don't mean it has to be okay. That doesn't mean it solves every single problem that exists.
Yeah.
But, if you complain and compare with everything that's done, you'll never be happy. So to me, there's more to be done, but it's a step in the right direction, at least. It wasn't Aerosmith again.
Yeah, but like we've had Beyonce.
It wasn't Walk This Way. It wasn't Run DMC and which you know what I'm saying?
Well, we've had Beyonce at the Super Bowl before. We had Prince.
And they cut the lights off on
her. She just shut it down. She killed that thing. we had Prince. We've had.
Hey, stop. Hey,
Chapo acting.
Quiet. Word. Shh. Hey, Cage, man.
That's how you know he's well trained. When black folks raise their voice, the dog come running.
Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Yeah, man. He get
it from his daddy.
Smart man. You hear anything? Shut the fuck up. You ain't gonna do nothing except lick somebody. Shut up.
Yeah. Like the saying, at the end of the day, the NFL won't put on a good show too, and black culture is culture right now. So,
facts.
It is what it is.
So then, we wasn't disagreeing with it. I'm sorry. We weren't complaining. It's just perspective. Like, we understand the BS that they're trying to show, and we accept it, but we want more just how like we deserve more. Think about, like you just said, black culture is culture. Like you can't just give us what you always would give us, just the entertainment role, and like, all right, y'all happy with an all black cast? Be happy. Well, here's Eminem. Here you go.
Yeah. Eminem.
I see both sides like Chanel. I see both sides like Chanel. Keeping it in the same vein, dealing with the NFL, dealing with discrimination, perception, hiring, representation, all of these things that are so prevalent in this league. Brian Flores was hired by the Pittsburgh Steelers as an assistant coach. Viewers of the show will recall that we recently discussed Flores' firing from the Miami Dolphins, and his subsequent lawsuit alleging discrimination in the hiring process, sham interviews, and being paid to lose. Now, if we're looking at something, from the Super Bowl aspect and the show, is this that to y'all? Is this a pity hire of Brian Flores, or is this a legit hire based on his merit as a coach and him being deserving of an NFL position?
A legit hire for an NFL head coach to come be a linebacker / defensive assistant. Like that sounds wow. Like he ain't get a coordinator. That man is a position coach. Like, nothing wrong with being a position coach. There's a lot of people that's working through the ranks right now. But like he's a head guy that, was in a pretty tough situation and took a tough situation and went a game below 500 or something like that.
He 24-25.
Yeah, like
and winning seasons, the last of his 2 seasons.
Yeah, so like that's
in Miami.
That's astounding. Like that's wild. But at the same time, him filing the lawsuit, he's lucky to even be in the league at this point in time. So, I mean, shout out to the Steelers, shout out to Mike Tomlin, and yeah, we'll see what comes with it.
My thing is, I'm surprised that Belichick didn't pick him up because I don't think y'all know. Maybe I did, maybe you're not, but he won 4 Super Bowls. Like he won 4 Super Bowls with New England, actually.
Yep.
So it's like he has that defensive pedigree. And matter of fact, the last Super Bowl that the Patriots played the Rams, it being 13-3, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, he was the D coordinator for that, or assistant coordinator in that game. So just to see that, like he means business, and like I think Tony, you said it, he's had the 2 consecutive winning seasons, and I don't think they've done that since I think like 2001. So 2020 and 2021 was a first like back-to-back winning consecutive seasons. So he has
after losing seasons, right? Like
turn
around, like a full turnaround,
Yeah,
and you've got young talent to build around with Tua and the like,
Right, and the thing is, it's crazy how that situation happened. But at the end of the day, I agree with Shaw. I don't think it was a pity hire. I think it was basically one man's trash is another man's treasure. And I'm not trying to call Flores, trash, but but he got kind of kicked to the curb. And when you can kind of have that kind of person on your squad, and the Steelers defense weren't as good as they are usually are, I think he's like that's a big upgrade, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll ask this. This wasn't in our notes. This is a question that just kind of came to mind while we've all been talking about it. As a black head coach, right, in Mike Tomlin, who's had success, been with this organization for years, is highly respected. What does it mean to younger up-and-coming coaches? Maybe you've been fired, maybe you've been replaced, or maybe you're just up-and-coming and looking for an opportunity, right? What does it mean for a black head coach to maybe advocate for more black assistants, black support staff, coordinators? Like, if you're in a position of success and you're in a position of authority, build the people I want on my staff, right? Is there maybe some responsibility? Maybe responsibility is too strong of a word for black coaches to bring other people along and give folks opportunities. or are you beholden to what the organization wants and who they like and who they will let you hire?
Well, I mean, if you the head, if you the coach, right? You get all you might not have all the personnel decisions, but you definitely get all the coaching decisions. Um, is it your responsibility to like pave the way for people? Nah, it's not. It's not your responsibility to do that. Um, it's if you can help in any type of way, you should. Um, but I mean, we seen that happen before too. Hugh Jackson, right? Hugh Jackson was the head coach of the Browns a couple years ago, and he actually had two black coordinators, but he failed in Cleveland. Those two black coordinators haven't had another opportunity since. So, it's a thin line there because, yeah, you hire all black staff, but if y'all fail, everybody done. You get what I'm saying? So,
And maybe not all black, but I mean, we hear so much in NFL football, college football, NFL football, especially about the coaching tree, right? Maybe college basketball, the coaching, who worked for who and then rose through the ranks to continue to go on. Like the Belichick coaching tree is like ridiculously huge, right? We've heard so many stories about that. And it's like, for there to not be a black coaching tree, I mean, obviously you have to have a tree to have limbs. But could that become a thing with black coaches being empowered and being empowered to make more hiring decisions for their staffs?
Tony Dungy got the biggest black coaching tree ever. I mean, I want to say Mike Tomlin might be off of that tree.
He might be. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't doubt it.
But I know for a fact you got the Dungy tree is you got Caldwell, you got Lovey, you got pretty much all of them. Hugh Jackson is off of that tree. Pretty much
Dungy the GOAT.
Huh?
I said Dungy the GOAT.
Yeah, like
damn good coach.
And I mean, I've been seeing stuff about like Tomlin has received some criticism for that because I mean Tomlin don't really have no black people underneath his tree, which is like surprising to me. But like I said, it's a slippery slope right there. It's a tough situation. So yeah, I mean we'll see.
That's fair. Switching things up a little bit from the NFL to international sports, the Winter Olympics. Looking at Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva. She tested positive in December for a medication called trimetazidine, and it could potentially enhance endurance, lung capacity, your heart rate, and the amount of blood that pumps through your system during moments of high stress, right? She was allowed to compete as a 15-year-old in the Winter Olympics. It should also be noted she's a Russian athlete. I'm not saying anything with that. I'm just saying she's a Russian athlete. So despite failing this drug test, a month, 2 months before the Winter Games, she was allowed to compete in the Winter Games. And this was actually for a potentially performance-enhancing drug. And let's not condemn a 15-year-old, right? But just want to juxtapose that with what we all saw go down with Sha'Carri Richardson, who tested positive for cannabis before the Tokyo Olympics. After the death of her mother, she had an expectation to compete for a gold medal. She ran the 100 meters in 10.86 seconds, which was cooking, period. But, she really could have been a problem for other countries if she were allowed to compete. What do y'all see? Is this racial? Is it a difference between the Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics? Is this on the IOC? When y'all heard this, what did y'all think?
So it's crazy because when you hear it, first thing you think is racism, but then you got to dig deeper into it and you got to realize Sha'Carri, first off, age, all right, and I'm not saying one side is right or wrong. I'm just going down the middle and trying to see it as plain as day as possible. Sha'Carri was 21, and I think the Kamlia chick, she was 15. So
15.
one's a minor and one is seen as an adult. So the argument was that Sha'Carri took a banned substance, whether it's enhancement or not, it was still banned.
A known banned substance.
Yeah, a known banned substance, right? So they're saying that she was like she knew what she was getting herself into, and the Kamlia chick, they're trying to say that she was a minor and she didn't have full awareness of what was going on. So they kind of gave her a slap on the wrist for that. Another thing is too is the people that actually kicked Sha'Carri out of the Olympics was the American Doping Agency. It wasn't the international. So,
okay.
But Russia's drug people. I'll be the name, okay? But don't crucify me.
They're drug federation. They're Olympic federation.
Theirs is way more flimsier. So, old girl got away with it because she's a minor. So I guess like her managers and coaches kind of took the whole brunt of that. So that's why I don't think it's that much racial, because you have the Americans that kicked their own sprinter out, and the Russians they kept one of theirs. Even though she fell a couple of times in her solo act, she did end up winning a gold medal in a group one that she did. Right. So she still so she still ended up getting a gold medal. Even though if she would have won individually, they're saying, I think the IOC said that she wasn't able to get like a flower ceremony, and she wasn't able to receive her medal on the podium or something like that. Mm-hmm. But she didn't end up placing anyway. So it was like, okay, but she ended up getting a gold medal anyways, right? So at the end of the day, like, you can say it's racial, but when you start digging into it, you can see the difference, because again, age, and then you can see where each one of them are from. You can say, like, okay, the Americans could have been like, okay, well, it is a illegal drug now, and since the international judges are saying like that's okay, and there may be some stipulations that where she can't walk around and get her flowers and all that good stuff, but she can still receive her medal. But it was all Americans doing, so you could say it's racial on our own part, but not the 15-year-old girl, right?
Right. Yeah, you can't blame her, especially if she's being advised by people around her.
Yeah, I agree with what he's saying. Like, it was America that banned Sha'Carri.
Crazy.
And like, nobody killed me on this. Like, I'm not against her, but like, she knew she was going to have a drug test before she started smoking. Like, CG, you played professionally, and in college, I played at college. Like, everybody knows when the drug test is coming. Like, it's not a secret. So if you fail a drug test, like, that's on you, and you can't blame. Let me not say that. Her grandmother passing away probably was tragic and had an effect on her.
And she found out after competition. She found out on the track in a post-meet interview.
Exactly, and she was smoking weed before her grandmother died. Like, let's
she was like she just didn't start smoking weed just after that. Like
let's call a spade a spade. So
she tried it.
Yeah, like, while it's tragic that they banned her for running track for smoking marijuana.
That's which is not a performance enhancing drug.
At all. What's the name of the drug? What's the name
enhancing?
What's the name of the drug? Russian girl had?
Trimethazidine.
Yeah, see, that shit sound like some stuff that make you do stuff that humans ain't supposed to be able to do. So like, it is messed up, but like I said, like, you gotta know how to move with the rules, man. Like, it's all a game. You gotta know how to play, man. So,
and not to cut you off, Shaw, but just the thought that I had during this conversation. It's not something we had discussed previously, right? But Russia, let's keep it a buck, let's keep it funky, has had a history of not shooting a fair one in the Olympics.
Yeah, like, Russia is used to coloring outside the lines. Like, that's a fact. That's what, their rules about you, if you fail something and coming back, is probably a little bit more lax than the U.S. is, and how the U.S. responds to athletes smoking. But
Yeah.
the
Especially when
U.S.
you think about the U.S. Previous policies
Right,
for the Olympics for so long being amateur.
yeah, and the big dare, like dare play all into all that. You know what I'm saying? The Mothers Against Drugs, all that. So like, I don't know. I think the U.S. maybe needs to adapt to the current times, but we can't really we can't cry racism on this one because it,
Yeah, nah.
she in Russia, and unless a black Russian did the same thing, then
It's not apples to apples.
yeah.
Dimitri.
Y'all ever met a black Russian?
Nah.
I don't know
And
no period.
I do, but a black Russian, nah.
Yeah.
It sounds like a drink you would get at a bar that you wouldn't like.
A black.
Yeah, I want-
Well, they make
Black
white Russians. You could order a white Russian.
What's a white Russian?
That's
Black
a whole
Russian
drink.
dog. He probably a cold. That's probably a cold nigga.
He got
drink
bodies.
vodka.
He got bodies.
Drink
Drink vodka
vodka
for breakfast.
straight.
Cause
No ice.
Oh, man.
He's swimming laps in 20 degrees.
Man. Dang. Yeah, man. Shout out to Sha'Carri. I hope you bounce back, baby.
In recent news, Kim Potter, the police officer from Minnesota who killed Daunte Wright during a traffic stop, was sentenced to 2 years and a $1,000 fine. The traffic stop originated for expired plates and an air freshener hanging in the window. She supposedly mistook her firearm for her taser, and pretty much shot this kid to death in his driver's seat after he maybe or maybe did not attempt to pull off from the scene. And it must be noted that he was 20 years old. And while we say 2 years of the sentence, it's actually 16 months in prison and another 8 months on supervised release, or as we commonly know it, house arrest. In Minneapolis, we've talked a lot about Minneapolis on the show. How do y'all feel about this one?
16 months for catching a body. Man, that's disgusting, man.
Oops.
That's disgusting. She probably been locked up for what, about a year now. So in reality, she got 3 months basically after trial. So she'll be home by the summertime. Then 8 months on an ankle monitor, and we talking about after that, you just walking free. That's disgusting, man. That's
she won. Really, she won.
She won. She won. Like, bro, like, think about it. Like, it's people that catch a murder beat and geek to get 15. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You would be considered lucky.
Yeah, you catch 15. Like, man, you beat the rap. You get what I'm saying? Like, you get more time. You get more time than that if you get caught with, some drugs or.
How much time did Michael Vick do in prison?
Mike Vick did 2 years for fighting dogs.
Flat?
Dogs.
2 years flat.
Yeah, 2 for fighting dogs. Fed time.
Federal.
Feds. Like
dogs.
Fed time. And like we talking about, she gonna basically she got a house arrest sentence. So basically her only thing gonna be if she in the house by 10 o'clock every night, she cool. She probably in the house by 10 o'clock every night anyway. She don't look like the type that was, outside or nothing. But it's disgusting, and especially for all this to happen over your tags being expired and an air freshener in the window. Everybody got an air freshener in their window. My tags expired right now. So it's like it's like, man, if you do see lights behind you, like what you supposed to damn near better off flooring it.
Yeah. And I believe he was either on the phone with his mother when it happened because he was scared, or his girlfriend that he was with at the time immediately called his mother, or was holding the phone while holding the phone on speakerphone while some of this occurred, if not all of this. Um, and we've talked about police impropriety. We've talked about improper killing. We've talked about a lot of law enforcement type issues, law enforcement type murders, killings, shootings. Let's call a spade a spade. But I find it odd that the people who are charged and take an oath to protect and serve all of us get less time in prison and in custody potentially when they kill one of us civilians, as opposed to one civilian killing another. You're supposed to know better. You're supposed to be trained for this. You're supposed to be ready for whatever's thrown your way, because that's part of the job, right? Like, this is a possibility every day when you leave your house. So I don't know. I mean, we talked about police reform. We've talked about police reform in multiple facets in Minnesota. This killing occurred, not too long after the murder of George Floyd. I believe protests were still occurring when this happened. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to speak out of turn or be incorrect, but man.
And the judge was crying. The judge was crying during the sentences. I just watched. So the judge teared up, talking about how she was risking her life in a line of duty and all this other shit, man. Like, all that is disgusting, man. Minnesota is gonna have to join Shreveport and Detroit on my no-fly list.
And Wisconsin. I have no desire to go at all. Nebraska. Is this never mind, that's from a movie.
With the belly?
Omaha, it's a few.
Is you belly?
Actually,
Omaha might be all right.
Now you're right as of now, but let life keep living. You're going like, dang, they have an Omaha too? Nah, I ain't going out in the Midwest. I'm good. But honestly, man, like, my thing is, if you look at her mugshot, she's grinning. Like, I don't know how many people can really kill somebody and have that on their conscience and be smiling in a mugshot that's going to be seen by millions of people. So if you do want to fight that defense, right? Yeah. So even if you do want to have that defense, like, I made a mistake, why are you going to be smart? Like, a real killer is going to be happy. Like, yeah, like I'm getting off.
Everybody seeing a mugshot, that smile go back.
But doesn't go back though. That's the thing. People you talk about look like you.
Yeah.
So she ain't going back. She getting out with a slap on the wrist. Like, hey, here's your pension on the side. Just don't tell nobody. All right, but you can't work anymore. Go to the back. Because I want nobody looking at you, looking at us, think we the same people.
So, like,
that's crazy, bro.
I don't want to be affiliated with you, but we still gonna take care of you though.
Right.
Like, as a family of the one who passed away, right? You see, you in court and you see this woman, get a 2-year sentence. Like, what's your neck? Like, justice clearly hasn't been served. So, if somebody from that family were to crash out,
you can't blame them. How? You can't, honestly, like, if anything happened to one of your family members that's really close to you, and the person that did something like that, it's one of the things where, imagine if you do see that mugshot. Imagine if you hear, oops, I thought it was my taser, and it was a handgun, and it's been on force for 15 plus years. You don't know, like, all of us own guns. We know what a handle of a gun feel like.
No, I don't know what a loaded gun.
Right. So exactly. So it's like, I think she was careless and she probably didn't care. And it's one of the things like, oops, mistake, my bad.
Yeah, like she probably was scared. But the fact that she was scared is a problem. Like,
right. How you gonna have a gun and a badge and you scared of somebody that's posing as a non-threat.
Yeah.
Well, then again,
he's in a car.
He's
in a
black.
car. He's a kid. He's a
scared
kid
because
in a
he's
car,
black.
and he's visibly scared.
right. I was gonna say, like, reports had said that she had tried to detain him, and he broke away, and he had tried to get back into his car. So that's what, in her mind, I don't know how that's posed as a threat as he's trying to get away. But then again, that's how a lot of black people get shot. Like, you trying to get away because you scared, because you heard other black people that became hashtags. Next thing you know, they put 6 in your back, and now you another hashtag.
But it just keeps happening. You know, and I think there are so many instances where we have seen individuals of other races, other hues, other cultural ethnicities, backgrounds, whatever name you want to put on it, fam. We've seen people threaten police with an axe, with a bat in the middle of the street,
and charge them. Continuously charge them, though. I'm gonna kill you. Come here. Yeah. But hey,
they live to tell about it. Hell, we've seen mass shooters get taken for food.
Burger King.
On the way to the station. You just killed 9 people.
Well, when I see police, I go that way. Like, if I'm driving, if I'm walking, bro, I don't mess with them peoples. I stay far away, bro. And that's the scary part. Like, if I see a cop at 7-Eleven, I'm not stopping.
We got off topic, but I feel like it was a good conversation and a worthwhile conversation to be had. And you know, hell, if you agree, if you disagree, put it in the comments, man. I'm gonna fix this screen next time, but hey, drop it down there, man. Let us know what you think. Maybe we'll respond, maybe we won't, but say something. It's better than saying nothing. For the Loc'd podcast, we better be up off of here. It's your boy Tom.
It's your boy CG.
Y'all be easy as sharp.
All right, man. We gone. Catch you on the next go around.
1.